Welcome, wonderful people. This is Mr. Nabezita once again, and we are continuing with our question paper from the province. So, in question 2, they say, consider the quadratic sequence 319, 280, and so on. The first question in 2.1.1, they say, show that Tn equals n squared minus 42n plus 360. So, how do we work around this? So I'm just going to write down the solution to the problem. Now, the first thing that we need to do is to find the difference because we are told it is a quadratic equation. So we need to say 319, 280, 243, 208, 175, and 144. So what we need to do is to find the first difference because a quadratic equation has, or a quadratic sequence has the first and the second constant difference. So let me just quickly find out the values. So I'm going to say 280 minus 319. That's minus 39. And I'll go to the second one and try and do the same. 243 minus 280, I get minus 37. So it seems like the other one will be minus 35. 208 minus 243 minus 35, and this must be a minus 33 and minus 31 because 9, 7, 5, 3, and 1. You just keep on subtracting 2. And from here, I know minus 39. I should add a 2 as a constant difference because minus 33 plus 2, it's minus 31. So this is my quadratic sequence. Now I need to show that Tn equals this. Okay, this is fine. I know what needs to be done. I just need to say this gives you the value of A, this gives you the value of B, and this gives you the values of C. The question is, how do you approach this? Now you're going to say that 2A equals 2. You just say 2A, this is the equation. 2A equals the second constant difference, which is 2. You divide both sides by 2, the value of A becomes 1. And in order to find B, you say 3A plus B equals this value, which is minus 39. So you're going to say 3 times 1, which is 3, plus B equals minus 39. And therefore your B is minus 36, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, because if you take this, sorry, this is wrong. You should get minus 39, 40, 41, 42. Because when you take this to the other side, it becomes a negative. Minus 39, minus 3, minus 42. In order to find C, you just say A plus B plus C equals this value of 319. So you have 1 minus 42 plus C, 319 minus 41 plus C, 319. C, it's a 319 plus 41. This is 10, this is 5, 6, 3. And you get 360. Therefore, Tn equals an squared plus bn plus c. This is the mathematical equation that describes the behavioral pattern of a quadratic equation or sequence. So you have the value of a, that is 1. 1 times n squared is n squared. You have the value of b as negative 42. Negative 42 times n, negative 42n, and you have your value of c of 360. Let's see if this is true. N squared minus 42. Sorry, this is 42. There it is, minus 42, and there it is, plus 360. And you are done with this. Right. In 2.1.2, which term has a value of 0? So they want to find out which term has a value of 0. Now, how do we work around this? Now we have the equation Tn equals n squared minus 42n plus 360. So they ask which term has a value of that. So let's continue in this now. How do we find this? Which term has a value of 0? Now you need to understand the question. Which term? This requires a term number that has a value of 0. So for example, the first term has a value of 319. If you substitute 1 here where you see n, you add 360, you're going to get tn, which is 319. It tells you that the first term has a value of 319. Now this one is looking for a term number that is a 0. So 0 becomes your tn. So you're saying 0 equals n squared minus 42n plus 360. And then we factorize this. N and n. So how am I going to do this? I'm just going to come here and say 360 equals, okay, equals shift and press fact. The prime factors of 360, it's 8, 9 and 5. 8, 9 and 5. Now I need to look at something very carefully here. I need to find two terms. When I multiply them, I get 360. When I add or subtract, I get 42. So which ones are those? This is something that I need to work on. So let me just try to say 8 times 5 and see what I will get. 8 times 5, it's 40. I need to get 42. No, let me just say 9 times 5. 9 times 5, it's 45. It's 45. There seems to be a problem here. Okay, just go to a quadratic very quickly. Just say 42 plus the root of 42 squared minus 4 into a, that's 1, into c, that's 360, divided by 2 into a, that's 1. You need to take 30 and what value? How did I find this? I'm using a quadratic equation and 12. So 30 times 12 is 360 and 30 plus 12 it's 42. So they both need to be positive. No, they both need to be negative. Why? Because negative 30 times negative 12 it's positive 360 and minus 30 minus 12 it's minus 42. So remember, here I'm going to say n minus 30 equals 0 or n minus 12 equals 0. N equals 30 or n equals 12. But both cannot be correct. So I need to find which one is the correct one. So I'm going to substitute here 30 and see whether I will get 0. If I find it, then this is correct. Or if I substitute that one, this is correct. But one needs to be correct between those two. So let me start with 30. 30, that is squared, minus 42 into 30 plus 360, and I get a 0. So this is correct. So obviously 12 has to be wrong. So let me just prove this. And with 12 also I get 0. Now, which term has a value of 0? The 30th term has a term number. Term number 30 has a sum or a value of 0, and also term number 12 has a value of 0. So how do we get around this? Because this is what we have. Now what should be the conclusion of this? Because both 12 and 30 gives Tn of 0. So which one do I say it's correct? Both are correct. Both are correct. I have no any other choice. Let me see whether I've done things correct. Negative 30 times negative 12 is positive 360, minus 30 minus 12 is minus 42. My factorization is correct, and I get two positive values. So there are two term number that is a value of 30. Of 0, sorry. Term number 30 has a value of 0, and term number 12 also has a value of 0. So there's nothing that I can do with this. This is exactly how it is. Right, 2.1.3. It says, which term has the lowest value? I know the lowest value has to be a value that is negative. Those are the lowest values. You see in here, 0 is not the lowest value. Here we were talking about a term number that has a value of 0. Term number 1 has a value of 319 and so on. Term number 30 has a value of 0, and also term number 12 has a value of 0. Two terms with values of zeros. Now here, which term has the lowest value? The lowest value has to be a value that is negative. So we're going to say n squared minus 42n plus 360 has to be less than 0, because values that are less than 0 are the lowest values. We consider them as the lowest values. So you're going to do the very same procedural method, and you're going to say minus 30 minus 12. So you're going to say, okay, n minus 30 less than 0, or n minus 12 less than 0, n less than 30, or n less than 12. But does this solve anything? Let's try and see. So let's take in the values that are less, the term number that is less than 30, and see whether it will provide us with a lowest value that we said it's negative. Let's take a value like 29. So I'm going to say 29, that is squared minus 42 into 29 plus 360. And that's true. I get a value of negative 17, and I should consider this as the lowest value, and it's a negative value, and there's nothing negative here. Let's see with a value that is less than 12, which is 11. So let me try with 11, and I get a positive number. So this is not correct. Therefore, I'm going to reverse the inequality and consider values that are greater than 12. Let's take 13 and see. And we get a negative number, and we are so correct. So these are the values that you should find for this. And guys, I'll see you in 2.2. And somebody might come and say, Ndabezita, I disagree with your statement. You mean to tell me that all the values of n that are less than 30, all the term numbers that are less than 30 will give us a negative value? And that is incorrect. Why? Because term number 1 is less than 30 and you have a positive number. Term number 2 has a value that is positive and it's less than 30, and so on. So is this the correct approach, the mighty Ndabezita? And I would also understand to say, no, I don't think I'm correct in this. Now let's look at this in a second approach. Because we are dealing with a quadratic sequence that has a formula n squared minus 4n plus 360. Thus, in its nature, which term number has the lowest value? It has to have a lowest value at the turning point, because it represents a quadratic, which is a parabola. Okay, so it has to have a minimum, or it has to have the lowest value at the turning point. That's exactly where we should find it. So what we need to do, we need to calculate the coordinate of the turning point using the equation that we all know. This is a very famous equation everybody knows the equation. It says that x equals minus b over 2a. So you go to your equation, you have your b, which is negative 42, divide by 2 into a, and the value of a is 1. And you get 42 divided by 2. Now, what value will you find here? You will say, how many 2's can I pull out of 4? 2. 2 times 2 is 4, minus, bring down, how many 2's can I pull out of 2? 1. So you get 21. So which term has a value of, which term has the lowest value? So T21 has the lowest value, and you are completely done.